Hey, I'm back. It has been a long time, very long time. Yeah, let's just keep the story short. I've been out of the kart for what, 4 months now. Yeah, got into a car crash going up to a race. I fell asleep behind the wheel. It was my own fault. No one got injured, no one was in the car, it was just me. So the car that I drive has been in the shop for 4 months getting repaired. I had to sell everything, go-kart, engine, trailer, to afford the costs for the repairs. So I've slowly been buying things back, and now I've finally got the car back and have been able to get to the track to start practicing again. I won't be racing for the rest of the season. My season's already done. I've missed too many races to be a contender for any championships or special events that I was doing, so my season's done. I'm going back to KA as well. Just kind of a little bit scared to now drive long distances at like 4 o'clock in the morning, then racing all day, and then driving home at like 6 o'clock at night. I am always very fatigued and tired. Well, I'm always very tired in the morning and fatigued at night. So it has happened a few times where I've dropped in and out of micro sleeps, and obviously eventually it caught up with me. So I'm a bit scared to now travel long distances for races. So KA, it has Newcastle, and now has Port Macquarie. So I won't be driving or racing at as many different tracks. I'm predominantly going to be racing at Newcastle now under KA, and sometimes I'll race at Port Macquarie, sometimes I might race at Eastern Creek. So no longer going to be doing Karting New South Wales. It is unfortunate. I did love racing under their license, met a lot of great people, made a lot of new friends, but I'm thinking KA is probably the, like, Karting Australia license is probably the better way to go for my future now. It's still going to cost probably the same. A few things are a bit more expensive under KA, but then less travel, less fuel, less accommodation. It's going to balance out pretty much the same. It's just really me trying to keep control of accidents or physical health, stuff like that. So this is the first time I've been on Newcastle track for like a year or something. First time actually unrestricted, and yeah, I was about 1 second off pace from the fastest guy at the last race at Newcastle, which was the Winter Cup. Very competitive drivers. I think I was 1 second off the fastest driver. Being 1 second off would have put me at the back of the field, but I didn't have the right gear ratio. I needed to be 2 teeth lower. I didn't have those sprockets, so obviously I've bought those sprockets, and I'm going to now put those sprockets, or I'll now be able to use those sprockets at next test day. Also the EGT that I run, which is the exhaust gas temperature, that wasn't working, so I couldn't properly tune the car. I'm running an X30 now, so they have a tuning carburetor, where I used to run the Rotax, and it just had a single jet, or dumbing it down, they had a single jet that you would change in and out to tune the carburetor. Obviously you can't tune it on the track. You have to figure out everything off the track, so like air temp, pressures, actual temperature, humidity. You had to calculate all that and put in consideration to know the correct jet. Well, the X30s, they have a different carburetor. They tune it on, you can tune it on track. They have a high and a low. There's two ways that you can, two ways you can read the exhaust temp to, I don't know it well enough to properly explain it, but there's two methods you can use to help you accurately tune the carburetor. There's a Lambda system, which is like $800, much more accurate though. Much more accurate, and it helps you read the data on your Micron or Alfano. It helps you read the data of the exhaust temp and how the engine's running to tune the carburetor. I've gone for, even though it is cheaper, it's not cheaper. I've gone for the other method, which is the exhaust temp temperature, the EGT. Does the same thing. It's a little bit less accurate. Like it was what, $200 instead of $700. So I'm really going budget. That's all I could afford. Still does the same thing. I'm not going to be going professional. I'm not really going to be super fast. As long as I can properly adjust the carburetor to what the data is showing me, then it's going to work. They all work the same, just one might be slightly more accurate, might give you a little bit of an extra advantage, but not much of an advantage that's worth $500. So that wasn't working on this day. I had the wrong plugs set up. I needed a split cable and didn't have a split cable, so I've had to order that in, and that should be working next test day, which means that I'll be able to properly, the carburetor was adjusted to standard. My engine rebuilder did that, so it wasn't like it was completely off and it was going to blow the engine, because obviously if it's not properly adjusted, it could be running too lean, not enough fuel, blow, could be running too rich, too much fuel, flood. So it was actually tuned properly. If it wasn't tuned properly, then obviously I'd have to get my engine supplier that is at the track to properly tune it, but it was already properly tuned, so I didn't have to worry about that too much. I still tested tuning it on the track, because you need to adjust to that. Like, you're going 100 kilometers down the straight, which is the only time you can tune it. You're going to be having one hand on the steering wheel, one hand behind your back almost, trying to tune the carburetor. So I needed to kind of get accustomed to that. I've done it before, but obviously years ago, it's not muscle memory anymore, so I had to get slightly used to where I'm going to be putting my hand to get to the needle for the carburetor to adjust it. I did a little bit of tweaking, but it obviously wasn't going to be much, and I obviously put it back to where it was when it was first adjusted. Those are really pretty much the only things. 1 second off pace, it's a lot. That's a lot I need to gain. I do believe going 2 teeth down, because it was over revving. Going 2 teeth down would, I'd say, would help me maybe shave off, not much, maybe 2/10. I might be lucky and it could shave off 3/4. Getting the EGT to work and properly adjusting the carburetor so it's at the right standard of lean to rich, that could get me maybe another 1/10 or 2, so I could shave off almost half a second, which still means I'm 5/10 off pace. Going back to when I was racing, that's kind of where I was almost at. I was about 2-3 off the front runners. So yeah, I see it as a positive. The fact that I'm back on the track doing what I love, yeah, I definitely see it as a positive. There's still much more to gain, and yeah, I guess I'll just stop talking now and let you guys watch me just go around the track. Not much, just test day, not much entertainment, but yeah, just want to let you guys know that I'm back. It's just going to be test day after test day after test day for the rest of the year. I might be able to do a race. I wanted to do the state titles, but look, I don't think I'm going to be well prepared enough to do the state titles, because the fact that I haven't ran this engine, the X30, it is very different to the Rotax, the gear ratios, the way it handles, the way the throttle handles, the way it accelerates, deaccelerates, everything's different. So I'm literally a baby back in the kart trying to relearn this engine. Chassis aren't too much different. A chassis is a chassis. Like people say OTKs are better than arrows, but chassis is practically a chassis. You set it up right, it's gonna be fine. It's really me just adjusting to the engine, me getting used to driving again, and that's pretty much it. Just learning the engine, the proper gear ratios, the correct way to tune the carburetor. Once I get all that sorted and understand how the engine wants to go through a corner, how it wants to accelerate, how it wants to deaccelerate, how it wants to roll through a corner. Once I get all that down pat, then I should be pretty close to front runners, maybe 3/10, 2/10 off front runners. I've literally talked through this whole video. I am so sorry, but it is what it is. You're gonna have to deal with it. Just let you know I'm back. Test days for the rest of the year, possibly a race at the end of the year. I want to do the States, but I don't think I'm going to be ready to do it. It'll just be a waste of money. I'll be at the back of the field with what I'm currently working with, and that's me figuring everything out again. So might not do the States. I'll probably still go down there to watch some mates race and help them out in the pit. But other than that, yeah, I hope you guys are happy. I'm definitely happy. Yeah, awesome. Please keep sharing the videos, please keep subscribing and liking. It does make me feel a lot better that people actually like my videos and watch them. But yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Peace.